can barely hear you. What's that first name?
Kiana Clark.
Deanna Clark?
With a K, Keyaana, Kiana Clark, Clark.
And how do you know the family?
I'm the mother.
The mother
Of the child that yes, the person that's getting exposed to abuse, and the child that has been in abuse.
Okay. And I'm sorry. And how do you spell that?
So I want it to be a
Bluetooth or something?
that's
Speakerphone.
this is the best that I have. I don't hear real good on the other thing without it being on speaker.
Okay. Okay. It's really hard to hear you. How do you spell your first name again?
Keyaana. Her dad had a stroke, so it's like he's special needs. He doesn't have his proper mental capacity.
But he was in the hospital, and that's who has custody of him?
Right. He has custody, but the stepmom has power of attorney over him because he doesn't have the proper mental capacity. So he's not running. I'm sorry?
What's his name? Is he and how that stroke effective? Is he able to communicate? Is he able to
When we went to court one time and he wasn't able to talk, the stepmom talked for him. And I informed the judge, her name was Kim Cook, that I did not have access to my child. And the person that I'm reporting, what is this? James Hastings out of Hillsboro, Texas, set up a custody dispute. And I informed her that James Hastings made false statements in administrative review. Kim Cooks, when we did go to court, and Kim Cooks.
Okay, but I'm simply just asking at this point.
Oh well, I'm just giving you. I'm just letting you know that there's. Yes, and he wasn't able to talk. He wasn't able to properly communicate.
Okay, so and currently, is he still in that condition? He's not able to communicate
properly. No, he's not able to take care of himself either, or a child. He has his wife has power of attorney over him.
Okay, and so is he in a wheelchair?
No, he just doesn't have the proper mental capacity to pay bills and get food and all of that kind of thing. He has to have help.
Okay, so he needs like assistance with everyday living.
To the last last time I spoke with him.
You know of it, that he was in that condition.
Right, he's been in that condition years.
For years, okay.
Yes. No.
Okay, what about the stepmom?
She is on a walker, and she has some kind of things going on with her. I'm not quite sure exactly what they are.
Okay, so she's able to care for him. Correct.
Well, she's on a walker. I don't know how good that she's able to care for anybody on a walker.
Do you know if she gets any kind of provider services or anything like that?
I don't talk to them. Not quite sure. That's why I'm doing a report so that can be investigated.
Okay. And what about you? Do you have any special needs, medical conditions, or disabilities?
No.
Okay. And so.
You asked me if I have no visitation.
Yeah. Is there any court order on visitation?
Yeah, that's what I'm calling about. Crimes were committed to keep me away from my child. Okay, and no one's investigating the crimes.
Well, CPS doesn't cover that. That's more of a civil issue.
I would like to do a report. I don't know why my calls are unusual. What I'm doing is I'm reporting. Okay, what I'm reporting was false statements that were made. There's a history of abuse in the environment that she's in that CPS has lost. I'm reporting abuse.
Have those claims ever been reported in the past to CPS?
No, the CPS does not have them. That's what I'm reporting today.
Okay, and what kind of abuse is the child happening in the home? Not at court, not with that stuff at home. What kind of abuse is the child?
Okay, well, let me tell you about the history. Okay, September 24, 2011, she had bruises on her, and CPS has lost that to cover for it. Okay, February. Okay, I'm just giving you the history. I'm giving you history. Yes, CPS covered for it and lost the report.
Okay.
So, and her dad wasn't a part of her life. He was not in the environment. I moved, and he wouldn't even answer the phone for years or call. So after he had a stroke, he wanted to be a part of her life again, and she could talk, and she wanted to see her dad. So I let her in because she could talk and everything. And she told me that her stepmom sat on her where she couldn't breathe and whipped her with the metal part of the belt in 2018. So I confronted the stepmom regarding that, and the stepmom said she didn't want to talk about it. And I said she's not coming back over there until she does. So I had this online relationship.
And you said that right there has already been reported to CPS.
No, it has not.
Right?
They can't find any of the reports.
Did you make a report?
I did, and they can't find it.
Okay. All right.
To James Hastings in Hill County. He's corrupt, and he covered for it. So then April 19th of 2022, she sent me text, okay, saying that someone had hit her. And the person that hit her was accusing her of something that they did. So each time she reports something to me, they put me and her on punishment to where we can't talk. So the CPS and the police department cover for her getting hit, whoever hit her, and won't do an investigation. Then she tried to cover for it and say that someone hit her at school. I don't know what's true. But here's the problem. We're targeted, and multiple people have been set up to assault me. The police department covers for it. She went over someone's house that was, I believe, was a gang stalker, because we used to see her all the time whenever we walk, and she'd follow us. I had no idea what gang stalking was, but this lady used to follow us and do weird things. So anyway, the school shut down. I had a mysterious shutdown. So, and I started a new job, so I let this woman keep my daughter. And when my daughter went over there, the lady was making false statements about my daughter, and then the little girl she was at strangled my daughter.
Hold on, this lady, when you say lady, are we talking about stepmom?
No, I'm just giving you a history. I'm just giving you a history of why I think something was suspicious when my daughter got hit. So when the school shut down, I let my daughter go over to this lady's house that used to follow us. Okay, so
you allow your daughter to go to somebody's house that was following you?
Well, I thought that I did something. She said that she was a Christian, and she did a lot. She worked at the school and I thought was a pillar of the community. I did something online.
She said she was gang stalking you?
I did not know at the time. That's what I'm trying to communicate. So when this first,
that you put your child at risk like that.
No, that's what I'm trying to let you know. Later on, I found out what was going on. But initially, the school shut down, and I thought the lady was a pillar of the community. And later on, I found out what was going on. I did not know. So I started a new job, and this lady, was supposed to be involved in school and all kind of different things, and was supposed to be a church member at first. I thought this. And then later, I realized that she's probably a gang stalker after this incident occurred. So then, but anyway, the little girl, when she went over there to stay, the little girl strangled my daughter, and she couldn't breathe, and my daughter bit her so she could breathe. So the reason why I'm communicating that, someone has set up a lot of situations for me to get assaulted. And I don't know if it's what's going on with my kids to keep my kids under control. The police won't cover it. The police covered up for that incident, wouldn't investigate that, and almost everything that I report. So at the time, of course,
and all that was already reported to CPS.
It's lost.
Okay. So why are you calling today?
And what was your employee number? What was your employee number?
5533.
Okay. So today, my daughter had the environment that she's in. There's a history of abuse, and we're targeted. That's why I believe that a lot of these assaults occurred. So the court let James Hastings disappear off the docket, which is felony charges. He made false statement to a family court, which is a charge in itself. And then the court was crooked. I believe my abuser was controlling this party, because when I ended an online relationship, multiple people came after me with slander. So I informed Kim Cooks of the 255th District Court that James Hastings made false statements. The school teachers made false statements, so they let them disappear off the docket so they didn't get their charges.
Yeah, again, that's more of a a law issue and not CPS.
Yeah, I think that you're corrupt, ma'am, because I'm reporting to you that my daughter has in an environment with a history of abuse and psychological abuse as well.
Yeah,
And I'm the legal
she's
custodial
in her
parent.
environment as
And
well.
then people have made
I
false statements to CPS worker to keep me away from my child. I think that you're crooked. I don't think that you're being honest with me. Because making false statements to CPS on your recording says that it can change the child custody agreement and is a state jail felony. I think you're being dishonest. I don't know how my calls are like this. I think you are, ma'am. Because making false statements to CPS in a family court is criminal.
Let me ask you right now: does your daughter have any injuries currently?
I just told you that the stepmom, she had bruises in the past. She had
And it's currently.
that it's CPS and the police department has been.
Years ago, right now, your child, does she have any bruises, any injuries?
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. You're covering for James Hastings making false statements to terminate my rights. I just want to just hold on. Let me make sure I get this out. I just want to make sure because I think something is amiss and I'm trying to expose it. Okay, so let me make sure I understand.
What I need to know from you.
I'm trying to get clarity. I called you for help. I'm trying to get clarity, ma'am. I don't know why my calls are like this.
I can give you, you need to go and call the supervisor of the caseworker, speak to them.
Okay, so ma'am. So what happened when James Hastings and all these parties make the false statements? CPS covered for them and let these parties disappear. So when I call on my phone, the person's argumentative and then covers for all the crimes. So I tried to report it when it was still active that James Hastings made false statements so he would get his felonies. I made 20 reports over the phone, but all the operators covered for it. So I started recording my calls so people could see how CPS somehow kept covering for these crimes. It's hard to believe.
Ma'am, that is not in my scope of my job. There's nothing I can do to help you with that part.
So James, it said on the recording, making false statements to CPS was a state jail felony. You said it said on the recording, ma'am, you're interrupted and you're being rude, ma'am. Wait a minute, ma'am. I have a question. You're being rude, ma'am. This is a pattern.
Can you please control yourself for just a minute?
I'm asking you to control yourself.
Because I am trying to help you. Okay, I understand that you're frustrated. You think that things have gone wrong.
Making false statements on your recording said that it was a state jail felony.
Let me finish talking. This is not the number to report those kind of things. There's nothing I can do for you. That is not part of my job. Now, however, I can give you a number.
It said on your recording, I'm questioning why the recording said making false statements. Ma'am, I'm asking a question right now. You're being rude. Hacking and spoofing calls is criminal to cover concealed crimes. Ma'am.
They are the ones who handle that type of thing. There's no new abuse that you've been aware of. What you're complaining about or you have concerns about is something that's happened in court and in the past and how they covered it or they haven't investigated completely or lost reports or whatever. That I can't help you with that. I'm just wasting your time spending on the phone with you when I could give you a number that can help you with those situations.
It says on the hotline that making false statements to a family court is a state jail felony crime.
Exactly, but that's something that we don't deal with.
Okay, so law enforcement is covering up for my daughter's abuse along with CPS, the CPS worker. Ma'am. CPS committed a crime. Interference with child custody is a state jail felony. For 5 years plus, everyone, ma'am, just hold on, ma'am. Ma'am, you're being rude, ma'am. This is a pattern. This is a pattern, ma'am.
Okay, let me give you the phone number that you can make that complaint to.
Ma'am, 5 years plus, people have been having me on this hamster wheel. And
let me go on to the next caller that I can help.
Ma'am, I'm trying to get clarity. And all my calls are like this, psychologically abusive. After hearing the insanity you heard, you should not behave that way. Spoofing calls, once again, is criminal.
Because you're the one that's calling. If you're calling 20 times and you're getting the same answer.
20 times they did not investigate. I just told you that CPS lost paperwork of child abuse and covered for it.
I can give you the number where you can order that paperwork.
I've already ordered it and they never give it to me. They keep closing things and tampering with evidence and hiding reports. All the 20 reports I made are lost.
There's nothing I can do about that. That's not my department.
Okay, so are you going to let me report the Adult Protective Services case for me, or are you going to cover for that too?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to cover for that? Because CPS work, when we called in, I've been hung up on, mistreated. So I know something's amiss with these calls.
Probably it might be that they try to help you.
No, they didn't. I have it recorded, ma'am. That's not what happened.
Like this call right here, I'm trying to help you, but you're not open to listen, and you're not wanting to get the resources that I'm trying to give you what you need.
Are you gaslighting me, ma'am?
I can't help you. That's not my job. That's not my job. There's nothing I can do for you, and I don't want to give you false information or false hope.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. Let me make sure I understand. Okay, I reported three situations of abuse. I reported courts committing crimes. I reported that CPS covered for. I'm just trying to. You're being rude, ma'am. I listened to you, ma'am, and then you're blaming me for your bad behavior. Ma'am, you're blaming me for your bad behavior. You'll let me speak.
I can give you these phone numbers.
No, I want to have clarity. Can you let me speak? You're gaslighting me, and your behavior is inappropriate, and you're blaming me for it. So I want to confirm that reporting 3 situations of abuse that CPS covered for, and my daughter's trapped in that environment, which is physically and psychologically abusive. You're covering for that, and one thinks that because they stopped me from talking to her when she was getting abused, going through the abuse, that's okay. And there's nothing CPS can do to protect my child from emotional abuse and corruption for these people taking bribes to keep her away from her mom. CPS has been covering for crimes years. I told you that they let people disappear out the docket, and there's nothing CPS can do to protect me or my child. That's why I think these calls are counterfeit, and spoofing calls is criminal. And a lot of people have done things really unusual. I called someone at the family place. They had me call this number, and then it was for victims' rights or victims' compensation, and they kept hanging up in my face. These people that enlist me to talk to these counterfeits on their phone, that should be charges. So I don't know if I should trust you, ma'am. It sounds like you're crooked.
Well, ma'am, I'm sorry to hear you say that. And since that's how you feel, there's no reason for us to continue this call.
Well, where's your supervisor, ma'am? And then the referrals that you were going to give me?
I can send out a message for a supervisor's call if you want.
Yes. Because something needs to be done. This has went on long enough. And CPS getting away with all this insanity, a stalker, the police department, people need their charges. These are felonies that are racking up. Okay. Just because someone paid a lot of money to keep me away from my child, there's no reason for this to continue.
It's not our jurisdiction. Now, I can tell you whose jurisdiction it's under, and I can provide you those resources.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead. Go with the resources.
Okay. Consumer Relations, and that's the jurisdiction that's over CPS.
They're covering for it, ma'am. I already called them, and they had someone call me, and then they haven't returned my calls. I've already contacted them, and they're covering for it. I'm just trying to do what I have to do to get these people their charges. I'm sorry?
Do you know what number you called?
I uploaded it to a YouTube channel, my conversation with them. Yeah, I can give you the channel and you can put it in your report. I like that. Well, if I should get a report number either way, because I've called multiple times and I want a report number for my report, and I want to give you the YouTube channel with evidence for CPS to have.
Ma'am, we don't interact with YouTube.
I want that on the report so you can see the crimes that are being committed, ma'am. Are you depriving me of the right to have CPE report and show the abuse that we've been subjected to for adult protective services and child abuse to get this YouTube channel? That shows the abuse.
What are you trying to? I don't understand anything that you're trying to say, and I apologize.
I'm sure you don't. Crimes. So the YouTube channel shows the evidence of all the crimes that I'm reporting to you, and I want that in the CPS report so they can review that of what's been done and have the conspirators in interference with child custody, which is a felony crime. So I'd like to give you the YouTube channel on my report, ma'am. I want and it shows me reporting to the police, or my daughter was hit in CPS and the police covered for it. I want that in this report, ma'am. Are you going to cover for it?
I'll put it in the report.
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
Because there's nowhere for me to
Okay,
take
well,
it.
just put it in the report, ma'am, because it's been covered up for 5+ years.
Let me give you the phone number.
I've already called them, ma'am. I'm not being heard. They're covering for it. I've already called them years. I'm trying to get something. I'm trying to show the amount of conspiracy. Ma'am, can you just please put the YouTube channel in there so people can get their charges? So they're not cover for it. I would like you to put the YouTube channel in there and not cover for it, ma'am. We've already had years of this. The YouTube channel.
Do you want this number? Do you want the number who has jurisdiction over CPS?
I want my report number for reporting, and I want to give you the YouTube channel to be in the file. So it shows the crimes that I'm reporting.
I'm giving you the jurisdiction that has over the complaints that you have.
Ma'am, I want the YouTube channel in this report, ma'am. Are you refusing to take down the YouTube channel that can shows the crimes that were committed against? Okay, well, just do it.
Do you want this number or not, though?
What? Give me the information, and then I'll give you the YouTube channel.
Okay. It is 800-720-7777. And then when you want to request records for any cases, I can give you that number as well.
I've already requested records online. They had several different investigations, ma'am, and they closed all the investigations. Now, ma'am, I'm telling you about the abuse, ma'am. You're covering for it again. I'm letting you know what I've been through. So I've already requested, ma'am, you're being rude, ma'am. Let me finish talking. Ma'am, let me finish talking. Ma'am, I want you to let me finish talking. So I have already called them and they're covering for the crimes, ma'am. I have, and just like CPS and the police department has. I don't know what is needed confessions. She needs to be terminated if this is really a CPS worker.
Okay, I'm not a CPS worker, but what's the YouTube channel?
It's KEY, Kiana Clark Peace. And I want my report number for making this report, even though you can't help.
And that number is going to be 783-708-39. And I just want to ask you, as far as your ex-husband, the father of your child, is he getting all his needs met?
No, I'm telling you that she's in an abusive situation. So I came to see her one day and then she cried. And then the stepmom said she was going to give her away. And all she's witnessing is people covering for her abuse like you. And blatantly lying to conceal all these felonies that these people chose to rack up.
And he's incapacitated to care for himself.
No, he's not able to care for himself. And you're covering for all these felonies that these people have racked up for themselves.
I'm asking you, does he have all his needs met?
No, when I went over there with my daughter, she looked like she was neglected, and he doesn't look that good either when I come over there. When I was allowed to come over there every blue moon and drop off money and gifts. I'm sorry?
When was the last time you saw him?
It's been a while, but the fact that I'm trying to communicate to you is there's a history of abuse that CPS and the police department has covered for. And I do all these files, these felonies, ma'am, these felonies piling up. Your behavior is completely unacceptable.
What I am trying to assess for is the current state.
Your behavior is completely inappropriate. So what I'm trying to, you're covering for these people and there's felonies.
All right, I am trying to find out if there's any current abuse or neglect, but you're refusing
spoofing calls is criminal.
Current information. So I will forward this over with what you've reported.
Yes, I'm not reporting that government officials have racked up felonies along with yourself and are not doing what they need to do to protect my child or me. And I told you that I wanted to do an adult protective service case on me getting violated, and you're covering for everything that I've stated today, including my abuse.
Ma'am, I have no jurisdiction over what you're saying. I have no power, no jurisdiction. There's no way I can cover for it. There's nothing that has nothing to do with my job. You're calling the wrong jurisdiction.
Okay, so
That's what I'm
reporting
trying
to
to tell you.
you that my daughter is in an environment of abuse and government officials have left cover for the abuse and the police department, leaving her in that environment so I don't have access to my child for profit. There's nothing that you can do about it. Nothing has been
Now,
done
as far
5
as
plus years,
access to
ma'am.
your child, is there a reason why you don't have custody?
That I
I
told you
mean,
out of corruption, I've told you that numerous times that people have taken bribes and made false statements to keep me away from my child and the covering for her abuse,
all right. Well, I can also give you the
which
number
is a
to the
state
very
jail felony
qualified,
crime, and no one has gotten their charge for 5 plus years of this.
attorneys that can address those custody issues if you like that as well.
No, I don't understand why CPS is covered up, but all these people, conspirators, are felonies racked up. I don't know, and it's
I'm
about
sorry
time
to
they
hear
got
that.
their charges. If you
I
chose to be a
apologize
conspirator,
that you've had a bad experience, and I'm sorry that I can't do anything about it. If I could, I would.
no one has done. The
But I
police
can't.
haven't been
That's
able
not
to do
part of my
anything.
job.
FBI haven't been able to do anything. No one has been able to do anything, and it's about time people got the charges they racked up for themselves. It doesn't matter how much power you have. A felony is a felony, and being insane with all this madness, spoofing calls, all these crimes and felonies stacked up, hacking phones, hit and runs, like hiring people to assault people, mistreat them, violate them to get your way. It's felonies racked up in the hundreds probably
Yeah.
at this point.
And I apologize. It sounds like you've had a really rough time.
I just
And
don't
I feel
understand
your
why
frustration.
it's something amiss with these
If I
calls,
could
ma'am.
help you, I would. That's just not in my jurisdiction.
I don't think I believe you. I think that this call is spoof. And I think that they've been spoofing calls for years, and that's why CPS hung up in my face and can't find all the reports. I think crimes are happening right now. I don't believe you. And I have witnesses right here that have a responsibility to report that heard this whole. Ma'am, I'm telling you that I have witnesses right here. You're doing it again, ma'am. This is completely unprofessional for a CPS hotline. No, ma'am, I'm still talking. I have witnesses right here that have a responsibility to report. They have a responsibility to report things that are inappropriate. I'm letting you know I have caseworkers right here, ma'am. Your behavior is inappropriate.
Okay.
You should be wrote up for your behavior.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I think your behavior to me was inappropriate as well. So,
you have to let me know that I'm being inappropriate when you have caseworkers that committed felonies and courts that racked up felonies for themselves, and then you think I'm being inappropriate that you can't help.
I really do. Believe it or not, I understand your frustration.
And if you understand it, why do you keep talking while I'm talking? Trying to conceal crimes. I'm ready for these people to get their felonies. This is out of control. And what was your employee ID again?
I'm sorry?
What is your employee ID again?
It's 5533.
Okay, the other ones when I wasn't recording hung up in my face and were psychologically abusive to make when I wasn't recording, the other ones hung up in my face. And then didn't investigate at all.
We can only take so much before we're just not doing any help, and we've got people that are waiting who need help that are in our jurisdiction.
Okay, so ma'am, for the police department covering up for abuse and CPS,
we are not. I don't cover police departments.
It's a crime.
Police departments.
I think they're identity thieves and they spoof calls. I think that's what's going on. And I think that they do this to other people that are not aware that this can happen and steal funds, because that's what they've done to me. Are you having your supervisor call me?
Yeah, I'll send out a message if they want you to call you.
Yes. Okay, so I was trying to let you know that two people have witnessed this who have a responsibility to report insanity.
You have some insanity?
The insanity that I reported to you, there's 2 people that witnessed this.
Mental health resources?
You want to give me some mental health resources?
Yes, would you want some?
I would like some resources to the FBI and CIA. Because I don't know why people have me lure me to make calls and then it's toxic and abusive. And spoofing calls is criminal. Those are felonies that people should have been issued years ago.
All right. Again, maybe you need to contact the FBI. They might have jurisdiction.
Well, ma'am, I'll just upload it to the YouTube channel, and hopefully it'll give you enough room to hang yourself. for the crimes that you guys have been getting away with and committing year after year, and the conspirators that you choose to enlist to be involved. You can't get away with it forever. 5+ years. There has to be some good people to know that you have been getting away with insanity, and know that there's charges that need to be given.
Me personally, I'm not even involved in this.
Ma'am, your behavior was completely, I'm not going to argue with you. Your behavior on this phone call was completely inappropriate, and asking me if I need mental health resources instead of doing,
I thought you were talking about insanity, that you were
subjected to.
insanity. I mean, I can understand. I mean, this is frustrating. I understand your frustration. Believe me. I'm listening to you. If I could help you, I would.
No one has, ma'am. People need to get their charges. We do have value, and we don't deserve it.
Everybody has value.
And everybody needs to get the charges they wrecked up for themselves. And then to put me through this psychological abuse over and over and over again intentionally, because the person controlling people is narcissistic. So it has to be torn. It has to be psychological abuse in each experience. And nothing is repetitively done. So, ma'am, I did get the report number from you. I'm adding this call to the YouTube channel, and I hope that you guys get your charges really soon. Because there's no one that I've called, they used to hang up in my face, be disrespectful when I wasn't recording. I would be in tears, emotional wreck. A CPS worker that has now disappeared used to call me, talk noise to me, say, "You're never getting your daughter back. You get it? We're taking her away from you." Ma'am, you're covering up for the CPS worker again that has disappeared, ma'am. You claim that this is not a spoof call. The CPS worker used to call me and terrorize me, telling me, "You know, you're not going to have anything to do with your child. You get it?" And talk trash. Now I went to the police department and let them hear the calls that this woman made, and the police department covered for it in Tyler and gave me a criminal trespass. Said she was legitimately a CPS worker when I thought she was fake, because CPS workers don't call and terrorize people. So then the Tyler Police Department, when they both got caught in lies, gave me a criminal trespass. And now all parties, conspirators, have disappeared, so they don't get their charges. And when I call reporting these crimes, it's always strange, but it's still felonies no matter who you are. Okay, ma'am. I'll upload this to the YouTube channel and hope something's done soon. You have the YouTube channel so you can hear the call on YouTube. Keyana Clark, CLA.
I have no interest. I'm sorry. I don't.
Okay, well, Kiana Clark piece. It's that when I was at the CPS in Dallas, they didn't really. A lot of people didn't care about it either. It's sad that when CPS no longer wants to protect children and don't have time to look at abuse.
I'm sorry. Personally, I don't look at social media because it's not credible.
Oh, well, these are videos, recordings of a pattern of behavior that needs to get their charges. Okay, ma'am. This call has been.
Social media is not a credible source of information.
Okay, ma'am. You have your supervisor call me. Thank you.
All right. Goodbye.
Okay, like I said, 2 people witnessed this. Okay, what happened with the victim's advocate? I'm talking to you.
Okay. I thought you said goodbye, so I hung up.
Okay.
So she's going to, I've given her your number, and she's going to reach out to you when she can.
Oh, how long is that, Ken? Because a victim's advocate, they should know that it's serious if there's a victim's advocate.
I do not know how long until it can, but as soon as I hear back when she's going to call, I'll let Eddie know.
Days, weeks, months?
It will not be weeks.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
It is the holidays, and that does make it a little harder because people take time off.
Okay, and you both witnessed that there's nothing that these people are doing for 5+ years. I don't know what to do. And I know that they have social workers and avenues.
So as far as being mandated reporters, you reported abuse to us, and we helped you call CPS. So that is.
But yeah, but you're witnessing that they're not helping and are committing crimes.
Witness for the report.
Right, but you also are aware of the crimes that were committed and how we are railroaded and can't get out of the situation that was.
So we're done today. We're gonna have to take you back. Do you want to ride back to the shelter?
That's rude, ma'am.
So it's also the end of the session. Would you like to ride back to the shelter?
Yes, I get disregarded a lot in police are controlling my environment as a criminal. What do you have to say about everything that you heard?
I don't.
You don't say anything?
I don't have anything.
And your peer support?
So I'm a clinical therapist. Session's over. Would you like us to drive you back to the shelter?
Yes, but your peer support, you don't have anything? I thought you came as a therapist to give like emotional support.
Note for resources. Remember we talked about that at the beginning of the session.
Okay,
as
so
your
you came each time that I talk about
Would you like to
abuse.
ride back? We're leaving now.
I've already stated that,
Then let's
but 2 times I talked about
Oh,
abuse,
we're going this
people
way.
came with us, and they're supposed to be emotional support.
If you'd like to ride back, we can give you a ride, but we're done talking.
You're done talking.
Mhm.
I hope the feds give people the charges that they need. So 2 times that I reported abuse to you, Eddie, you had people come to disregard me that were supposed to be peer support.
How y'all doing?
Well, if she says that she's a clinical therapist, her behavior is not appropriate for what she witnessed. And all the conspirators need their charges because this is out of control. How I keep on getting gaslighted. I think I left my umbrella. Oh, no, I left it in the car. I'm just trying to establish the pattern of how much control is abused and the narcissistic and psychological damage that I have to endure for profit. So she wasn't a very good person to send it out, Eddie. She's psychologically abusive. So out of all the insanity, you just ignoring it, ma'am?
So we're gonna take you back to the shelter now.
And what was your name?
Serena,
And what's your position?
clinical therapist.
Okay. So like Carrie told me that she was going to hang up the phone right then when I reported to her I didn't feel safe.
Do you not feel safe?
You heard of my experience. You heard all of it. You were a witness.
If you feel unsafe, we're happy to let you in the car now.
This is how they've been getting away with it so long. Controlled environments, knowing you never believe it. But this happens to be criminal and sadistic. Ma'am, you're not very supportive. You need to get more experience.